Since 1970, more than 80 women have taken advantage of a unique opportunity to study physics at the University of Oklahoma. It's called the New Avenues Program. Maybe there's a place in it for you. Diane Powell is in her 4th year in physics.
I just sort of happened onto the program. I'd already chosen astronomy as my major, and my father was a physics major here at the time also, and he heard about the program through Dr. Pollock, and I just thought it was a good way to, I don't know, get involved.
Dr. Betty Pollock started the program. She drew from her own experience.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a beginning student in physics, I remember, how isolating and isolated, I felt, having to work problems by myself. And all of the guys in class, would go home and, sit down and work together on problems. I think this is something that I thought about, over the years. And finally, here at the University of Oklahoma, 5 years ago, I had a chance to start a program which would involve a number of girls. In fact, the first group we had, had 25 students in it. And I think one of the most exciting things about the whole, program has been, watching these girls be able to talk to each other and, have each other to work with, to work on problems. We have some very, very fine professors on our faculty who enjoy working with students and really develop a very fine working relationship with the students.
Dr. Shea is teaching the introduction to physics lab right now, and well, he's a real nice person. He comes into the labs all the time and interjects a lot of humor into the class. The people like to see him in there.
Remember, for CGS, the force units are dynes. The length units are centimeters, and what they call the work unit is called an erg. Not named after anybody.
You study a lot when you're in physics, but sometimes, well, I get really tired of it and push the books away and turn on the stereo. The smaller student-to-teacher ratio lets the student get to know the teachers better and gets a better idea of what physicists are really like rather than the storybook character that they've always heard about. The teaching assistants were young, and I could relate to them better than a full professor. When you're a freshman, that's really scary.
This is Linda McDonald.
The most important thing I found out about lab is that I've learned things about myself that I never thought I could do, like build an electrical circuit or build an amplifier or work a lathe. In high school it was always, well, here, Linda, you write it and let the boys do the experiment. Don't worry about thinking you're too dumb or you're too clumsy or you've never done any of this stuff. I mean, the person who maybe isn't too good in mechanics may be fantastic in electricity and magnetism. Things that I never even thought I could do are just easy.
While Linda finds the machine shop easy, there is other work that is not so easy. But Even the difficult work can be enjoyable. The experiment here is a test of a simple theory of physics. To make it more interesting, the students make themselves part of the test. It's called the cannonball experiment. After Susan lets go, will the ball swing back to the same point? Or...
Don't get back.
Lean forward. Oh,
Please. Your life insurance paid up?
Please.
I don't trust him, you know. When I'm jumping, I am experiencing these principles that I merely just watch in the lab. They have more of a physical meaning to me. For instance, the balance of the horse is a very, very delicate balance, just like the balance of a pendulum suspended on a single axis. It's more than just F equals MA written down on a piece of paper.
Okay, you can look at it. This one is in series with this.
That's one of the things I really like about the program is that help is always available. And it's always, you're never felt to feel stupid. I've found that physics people are more wide-versed or well-rounded, more like the Renaissance men. People aren't just dedicated to their work to the point of doing nothing. We're encouraged to find, to find physics in the world around us. In high school, it was just memorize formulas.
Theresa Kilgore graduated from the program in 1974.
Being in the program, I think, was the major reason I got a job with a big oil company. And nowadays, it's really nice to know that somebody wants a woman physicist.
Well, what the program has done for me mostly has, given me encouragement and confidence that I could do it, and the added security of having other females in the course, you know, just knowing that they're doing it helps me to do it.
I think the main thing we offer here is a real strength in numbers. And some help for the students in getting over, some of the rough spots in the first year or two. And, of course, lots of confidence in the future, for women in physics in the future.
Diane has some good advice for people who want to get ready for college-level physics.
I would tell them that, if they have a high school physics course offered at their school, to take that and take as much math as possible. And don't be scared out of it the first semester, because the first semester is always bad. Once you get through that barrier, then it's pretty smooth sailing the rest of the way, actually. It's fun. Physics is really nice. I like it. You learn more about yourself in physics, especially in this program, than I have in anything, in music, writing, in any other field. It's just, you find out more things about your capabilities, about who and where you are and what you're doing. And there are more opportunities from this program in just every field. Just opportunities to get jobs, opportunities to meet people, opportunities to do things. Just really do things, important things and fun things.
If this interests you at all, just give us a call and we'll get together.
program to encourage women in physics. Directed by Dr. Betty Pollock Atkinson, funded in part by the National Science Foundation, the program was called Experimental Project in Physics Education for Women. Since the beginning, 90 women have participated in the Women in Physics program. How has physics influenced their lives, their careers? What does a woman with a physics degree from the University of Oklahoma do after graduation? That's what this film is about. Albuquerque, New Mexico, the planetarium of the Charles R. Spain Center. The teacher is Beth Welliver.
I hope. Yeah. Don't you? Yeah. There you go. I generally teach at a middle school, and they called me up and said, we have a really neat class going on for gifted kids this summer. We have 2 astronomy classes. Would you like to teach it? I really like that age kids. They're unpredictable, but they're really a lot of fun. You can see such tremendous changes from the 6th grade to the 8th grade in each kid. All right, hand me that. Thank you.
Explain it to them.
Okay, that's what's going to hold our little rod we're going to put our screens on. Would you get the rod, Chris? Here. Okay, great. Which one now? How many thousand miles from the sun can you see this? It's just going to hold our little sunscreen that we're going to project the image of the sun onto. Okay, Chris, let's have the black one first. This one with the hole in it will shield the sun's rays that we don't want coming through there. What are we going to look at? We're going to look at the sun, and just the sun's rays will be coming through the telescope and be projected on here, and we won't have this washout interference. I meant the corona. We're going to look at the gorgeous sunspot that we have right now. Let me have the white one now. And we'll just put this one here at the end for right now. Okay, obviously it's pointing in the wrong direction, so let's swing it around. Go ahead and screw down there. There you go, that's good. I'll swing it around, get it in. Okay, that's pretty close. We'll leave this loose. Okay, we're going to go ahead and try lining it up, and the way you find, of course, the sun is you do not look at the sun. What you do is find it through the finder scope first, and you'll have the sun projected. Okay,
Could you undo that lock a little more?
Yeah, we've got to turn this holding the sun in my hand. Come on, Chris, hold your hands still. Oh, honestly.
Should be that high here.
Okay, looks like we've got it just about in the middle of the shadow. Well, this is a planetarium machine that projects the stars onto the dome that you see above us. And you can do all sorts of really interesting things with it. You can simulate all sorts of phenomenon that you would see occurring in the sky. It's just a really incredible piece of machinery. And,
Beth thinks back about her school experiences at the University of Oklahoma and how the Women in Physics program encouraged her.
Math was always very easy for me, and physics wasn't. But it was very rewarding to get things to work out right in physics. Because you did have to put I did have to put a lot of work into it, and I really liked it. It did something for me that math just didn't. I really enjoyed it.
How did it make you feel about yourself? You said it did something for you.
Oh, well, at times it made me feel like a real dummy, but you just feel like, you're on top of the world when, for example, you get a mechanics problem that was not working out at all of a sudden, click. The regular physics programs first are predominantly male, which really shouldn't be intimidating, but
to me it was, and to several of the girls that we had in class, it was because even though the men didn't particularly know any more than we did, it sounded like they knew more than we did. And they were, I don't know, they were more oriented to physics than we were. We were sort of new at it.
A bachelor's degree in physics and a master's degree in geophysics took another graduate to the Rocky Mountains. Now at work as a geophysicist, Dortha Daugherty also remembers her days as a student.
What you really need to do, I think, when you're a freshman is have something that you can really relate to and belong to, and that's the feeling that I got, especially through our labs where we were always working together and, helping each other rather than feeling like you were competing against people in your class. That's one of the main things that I really liked about it.
After graduating from the University of Oklahoma, Dortha got a job as a processing geophysicist at the Mobil Oil Corporation headquarters in Denver. Here in her office, she interprets data from the field and prepares the data for computer processing. Diane Powell's degree in physics prepared her for a job with Environmental Protection Agency in North Carolina.
I was real happy to be able to put what I had learned to use in what I felt was a worthwhile job that of perhaps helping the environment. The New Avenues program was started with the object of helping women, encouraging women to pursue physics as a career.
Yes.
And when I started the program, we began in a freshman physics class that was composed entirely of girls. And this was a psychological benefit to most of the women because the traditional physics class was 90% men, if not more. And some women felt it would tend to make girls feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I think that people are taking a look at themselves and seeing that they have been behaving towards women differently than men. And they're now encouraging their daughters to go into fields that were always traditionally thought of as men's field. When I was in the 5th grade, I read an article in a newspaper about a planet that had been discovered circling another star. It was circling Bernard's star, and they called it Bernard Star B. And what struck me as unusual about this article was that they said that the scientists could not see the planet, but they knew it was there. And in the 5th grade, I just could not understand, how a person could discover a planet without seeing it. And my father explained that this was all done by physics. And so I later studied physics and found out how it could be done. But at the time, it was a big mystery.
Kind of like your father encouraged you to have an interest in physics.
Oh, yeah. He was interested in it himself.
And in math?
Yeah, yes. Which stimulated my interest, too. His enthusiasm stimulated my interest.
As Diane has pointed out, attitudes about women in the working world are changing. Here, for example, is another graduate of the Women in Physics program, Paula Sanders.
Well, I'm the repair foreman for Enid City, the city itself, and 6 small cities around Enid. In other words, whenever someone's phone goes out of service or something's wrong with their telephone service, then it's my people that goes out and fixes it. I spend about half a day here and half a day out in the field. So there's a lot of paperwork involved, but that just about takes up half a day usually. The actual study, the actual things that I studied in physics in college doesn't have much to do with what I do here. What helped was just the fact that I had gone through degree program in college. The actual making it through a degree, the discipline and the self-motivation and the get up and go that you have to have in order to finish a degree in college helps you in just about any kind of a job that you take on.
Was it unique, do you think, for a university to have this kind of program?
Yeah.
Was it helpful? Would you have done just as well without it?
Probably not. I think it was an excellent program that I was in when I was at the University of Oklahoma. It got the women into the labs, actually got hands-on experience with some equipment and some things that they'd probably never seen and never had any experience with. The actual working with your hands on the equipment is what really impressed me. We had to get in there and do it ourselves. We had to do the experiments. There wasn't anyone else in the lab but just us. And we had helpers, of course, graduate assistants and teachers, but we actually had to do the experiments ourselves and got some real hands-on experience with some equipment that I never had when I was in high school.
How do you think career opportunities for women who have gone through this program are?
They're great. They're great. There are companies and corporations and people just looking for women all over the country now. Your opportunities are just almost unlimited into what you want to do if you're persistent and if you're, if you get out there and look for a job, you can find it. You can find it.
Apart from jobs, a degree in physics often stimulates further interest in physics. Linda McDonald is in graduate school at the University of Oklahoma, where her interest is advanced research.
I enjoy doing puzzles, and to me most of physics is a puzzle. It's a matter of trying to put something together and turn things around and take information and put it together to come out with a picture. It's kind of like an art to me. I feel like I'm creating something. I'm creating something that required imagination and a skill. Research, to me, could never be boring. Well, if you can think of it as a whole, it can't be boring. It might be boring. I guess it does get boring when you have to spend all day on the ground putting together the plumbing for the water lines to the vacuum system, or when you spend all day cleaning copper and it still comes out with little spots on it. It's not boring, it's frustrating. Physics has kind of opened my eyes to the world around me, too, in that there's very little that you do that is not a physical phenomenon, a rainbow, or why the sky is blue, or wind. Everything you see around you has some physics behind it.